Hello and welcome to Sci-Fi Junkie. My name is Neil and I'm going to start my YouTube journey by talking about the upcoming show Picard, which at the time of filming this video launches in the UK in approximately 3 days and be available on Amazon. And am I excited about it? 110% excited to see Patrick Stewart back in the role of Jean-Luc Picard. I'm a complete fanboy. Patrick Stewart as an actor, and I love the character of Jean-Luc. I would definitely say that as I was growing up in my teen years, I would actually say that he was kind of a role model for me of what it meant to be an upright and fine human being. And I've often tried to think that I tried to emulate him in my life, even at one stage when I was going through those pretentious teenage years where I started to drink Earl Grey with a slice of lemon. I look like I've grown that. I'm on the cappuccinos, the lattes, and the coffee bandwagon with everybody else, but nonetheless, I find Jean-Luc Picard and that amazing actor Patrick Stewart in his many roles as something I really enjoy watching over and over again. But does that mean I don't have concerns? Well, I do have some concerns, and they largely come through the experience of Star Trek Discovery. Now, Star Trek Discovery, I'm going to put my hands up and say that I was excited to see that show because, like many Trekkies, I was looking forward to a return to the Star Trek universe. It's been too long a gap, and having seen what they were to do with the reboot of the film franchise, which I will cover on some future videos, I was excited to see where Discovery would go. I love the idea of it having a slightly more adult theme because I'm older now, the world's moved on, so something a bit grittier and darker was something which I was definitely up for. However, when it actually launched, some of the design behind it, I think the biggest contention for many Star Trek fans would be the reimagined Klingons. Definitely in season 1 this was a big issue for me. They addressed that with changing art direction as it gone into season 2. So it is a show which is responding to concerns raised by the audience, and I'm in two minds about whether or not that's a good thing. Because for me the reality is, if you watch Discovery, it is very good science fiction. The question I ask myself sometimes is whether it actually needed to have the word Star Trek added to it. If that had some other new title and not been associated with Star Trek, I think the show would have been better received than it actually was. Because actually, you know, same as Roddenberry, his original vision of it, kind of like Wagons to the Stars, I guess that's kind of how we in that Trek fandom largely still perceive the franchise. So it kind of tonally for me didn't match, design ethic didn't quite match, and although it had some great actors in it, some great characterisation, it is a show I found slightly harder to live with. Now, most of you who have done any reading on this type of material or interest in it will probably know that part of the issue is to do with licensing. The actual licensing Star Trek being split between two people. Consequently, what it meant was the reboot franchise had to focus upon the Kelvin timeline. Because in that route, it couldn't draw upon the IP of the original TV series. Now, those issues are now gone away again because of mergers in Hollywood, so that's good news. So there's lots bubbling away there, which could be indication of success or possibly some form of negative results coming from the Picard series. The trailers. Well, I love the trailers. It was great to see Jean-Luc waking up in the vineyard because, again, those who are big fans, we've got memories of him visiting the vineyard on a number of occasions. From uplifting moments to when he returns to fire to find out that his nephew's died, and it's clearly that in that episode he'd put a lot of expectation on the carrying on of the Picard name in his nephew. So it's a very poignant location for us. And it hints, reveals not a huge amount, and the trailer's been vastly dissected over the internet over the coming months, and what you've actually got is a really great insight into what looks like a potentially return to form for the Star Trek universe. Now, as we come close to launch day, like I said, at the time of making this video, we've got 3 days to it launched. There's some nerds, naysayers out there sort of like trying to point out actually it's going to be a great disappointment, and I guess to a certain extent there will be disappointment. Like all things, what we want for a program, we want for a show is probably far greater in our minds than any single director or creative or team of creatives could put together on the screen. That old saying is that you can't please all of the people all of the time. What I'm hoping for, though, is something tonally which bridges the next generation to Discovery, so something which sits in the middle. I can definitely cope with grittier, I can definitely cope with darker, but what I don't want is I don't want all that history, all of that years of fandom effectively to be ignored and rebooted. I don't think that was necessary. I don't think it's what the fan base wanted, and I think the results speak for themselves. So am I nervous about it coming out? Yes, I am. Will I be watching it? Most definitely. Will I be vocal in criticism of the show if it doesn't? I don't like it. I honestly don't think I will. I think if there's things about it I don't like, I'm probably going to come onto my channel and have a little conversation with anybody who wants to join in about what it is they don't like about the show, because again, what we've also got to do is recognise that for some people this could be their first introduction to the Star Trek universe. And I'm very well aware that if you sat down and made somebody watch original Trek now with its lovely polystyrene boulders and single sets, there may be a lot of people, especially in the younger generations, who struggle to appreciate that show for what it was. But as somebody who grew up in the 70s and into the early 80s, which is when I was watching most of my Trek on BBC Two, normally at tea times, I was caught up in the magic of the storytelling, because we weren't yet in the age of CGI where the effects were so badly dated that didn't make sense to me. So I carry with me those memories, those experience of those earlier episodes. So I'm going to judge with all that kind of backstory behind me. I'm going to very much judge it with the mindset of someone who loves science fiction and exposed to so many great films over the years and great TV series over the last 40 odd years of my life. So consequently, I may have a perspective which differs from that first time viewer who's meeting Picard for the first time. And I think that could be really empowering. The fact that you're going to have a main protagonist who's going to be in his age-wise in his late 70s, I think that could be remarkable if younger generations see a man in his 70s being active, a leader, an adventurer, and actually I think it may potentially help them engage more with their grandparents, or at least some broader awareness or respect for the older generation. So that's definitely not going to be a bad thing. So I'm happy to engage in debate about Picard, but the key thing at this stage as it comes to launch, I'm going to go into the show with an open mind. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to hope for the best, and then afterwards I'll be coming on to talk all about it and let everybody know what I think. So my intention at the moment, and whether this will happen or not, I'm not 100% certain because I am new to this YouTube idea. I'm hoping that what I can actually do is do a video once per week with a review of an episode or a topic. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to confine myself purely to science fiction, as in space. I include within science fiction, science fantasy, fantasy in general, and also sort of into the space of horror. So anything which is fantastical is going to be the remit of this channel. But hand on heart, I have to say that my first love has always been and always will be science fiction, whether it's the movies of the 1950s, because again, if you're of a certain age, you'd have grown up watching these movies on continuous loop during the winter times, especially here in the UK. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. If you do want to come back and find a bit more, then do click the like and the subscribe button, and also click the notification bell, because apparently that's how you find out that I've done something. And I look forward to maybe getting to know some of you better in the coming weeks or months. Again, any questions or any contributions greatly received. So welcome again to the Sci-Fi Junkie.